Hey y'all, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. This particular video, we are talking Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 8, episode 7, Love and Lockup. Before we get into it, please do not hesitate to hit that thumbs up button for me. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you are not already. Shout out to y'all who are subscribing, by the way. Share the video where you like to share your content and comment down below. And I want to give a special shout out to one of my followers, Gwendolyn. You are always in the comments. You are always encouraging me. You're always supporting me. So shout out to Gwendolyn. You know who you are. I appreciate your support of this channel for real. All right. And everyone else who continues to support as well. Anyway. Let's get into this review. This episode gave absolutely nothing until the very end. This scene behind me with Melody and Marcel. Y'all know I love the scenes with Mel and Marcel go at it because those are good. They make good reality TV and they know how to spar very well together. So other than that, the episode was giving very much fake, giving nothing, snooze fest. What are we talking about? But we're gonna get through it. Okay, so basically the episode picked up where they left off at Miss Nell's party. This was such a waste. I was like, let's wrap it up. Wrap it up, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Wrap it up. Y'all have to forgive me. That change of weather from here to Nashville to back to California did something to my whole system, had me congested, had me taking medicine, got me sneezing and coughing, child. So just bear with me. I'm gonna try not to do all that on the camera. Anyway, so yeah, they was at the party. Tisha still getting into it with the people. Stormi got walked away, so her and Courtney were talking to Marcel, and Marcel was saying how the invitation was weird, and Marcel saying like, oh, you had a problem with my wife had a problem with you. Stormi said she was just extending an olive branch. She didn't have no problem. Courtney was like, yeah, he got to defend his wife, like because Marcel was like, y'all both were saying mean stuff to each other at the reunion. And Courtney was like, yeah, that's the right answer. Y'all got to defend your wife. And so Marcel's like, well, you be defending your wife all the time. So anyway, they was talking about nothing, basically. Maurice said all the girls be fighting at every single event. They did a flashback, and they do fight at every single event. Anyway, I mean, nobody was really talking about nothing. They said that Marcel said he was just confused about the invitation. Stormi's over there laughing like Tisha don't know what the problem. Kind of laughing. It felt like she was laughing with Marcel at Leticia. That's the vibe I got. Was that just me? And I didn't like that. So anyway, Maurice told Marcel like, hey, you don't want to do this here. So Marcel's like, okay, we're not gonna do this at Nell's party. We're gonna do it at y'all's party. Because Courtney kept saying like we really wanted everybody to be there. So Marcel's like, okay, well, y'all really wanted us to be there. Y'all know y'all wanted them to be there. Marcel, y'all supposed to be there. That's what's on the call sheet. Anyway. Marcel told Stormi that he liked her look, and Courtney was like, keep your eyes on your own wife. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this was a waste. Then now Tisha's still going at it, and Tisha's talking about, she want to stand on business, and she want to, she ain't Miss Nice Tisha anymore. She tired of y'all trying to run over her. She coming correct now. She's speaking up and out, and she also did. And so Ms. Nels, I understand, like she said, I shouldn't have said you were acting crazy, like you were just being aggressive or whatever. And then I guess she didn't like I don't know if it was a blogger or somebody said Ms. Nell was a mentor and Tisha didn't like that. And who cares? Anyway, Ms. Nell had a good time at her party. She's dropping it like it's hot. The bottle service people came out for her. Good for her. This was a waste. Next scene we get is Martel Courtney and Chris Fletcher outside throwing a football around in the cold. Martel come up there with some jeans. Martel always got that same sweater, vest, and jean outfit on in every episode. Is it just me? Anyway, Chris wanted to check on Martel because he didn't get to be, at Miss Nell's party. He said he was sleeping. I'm sure he was fine. Martel trying to jam Chris up, asking him, like, feel like Miss Nell picking sides, and what did you say? And Chris basically like, I'm gonna take my wife's side. Like, whatever she said, she said. Like, you ain't coming, you ain't coming. Good answer, Chris. So anywho, they asked, Martel's asking, Courtney and them, did they have a good time? they're like, okay, Courtney's like, y'all can't be in the same room together, because Chris Fletcher's thing is like, you do something, she do something, you do something. I'm not both saying either one is right or wrong, like both of y'all wrong. And so Martel feels like, because Chris is like, y'all need to like stop all that. Martel feels that Chris is being like the Scots, and he's like, oh, everyone's saying like, oh, Martel, you shouldn't have did that interview. He's like, oh man, F that, F that. Martel don't care like what he does at this point. Martel don't care. He's fine with being the villain of the show. That's his position, and he plays it well. Anyway, and he's just a villain in real life. He's not a villain on the show. He's a villain in real life. Excuse me. Anywho, so they start talking about that lovers and friends ball that Courtney and Stormi have coming up, and Courtney's asking Martel, is he gonna really do it? And Martel's not sure if his body is ready and all that. And so he said, he's asking about Ken, and he's talking about he might train with Trish and all that. Later on, we do see that. Moving on, we see Tisha and Marcel. So Tisha was at the house. She said she's doing all the mommy things. She got to pick the kids up. She's cleaning. She's talking about how hard it is to be a businesswoman and a wife and a mother, and to juggle all those positions. And sometimes she feels like she's not doing one of them well. Now, Marcel came home and he's asking for a cup of coffee. And a confessional, Marcel told her, you don't have to do one thing well. You don't have to just be a good mom or a good wife. Just be the best person you could be. And I married the best wife, and you're the best wife because you're Tisha, and just be the best Tisha you could be. That make you the best person you could be. And I get what Marcel was trying to say, right? And you know what? Marcel been making a little bit of sense this season. Anywho, I think Tisha needs to stop putting so much pressure on herself. Like, yes, girl, you're trying to be a businesswoman, you're trying to be a mom, you're trying to be a wife. No, you're not going to be 100% well at all those things at all times. And some people try to make it like, you can do all those things excellently. And maybe there are people who can, I don't know, but there's going to be things that fall by the wayside. There's going to be things that don't get your attention as much as other things. As long as you are just doing your best at being you and doing your best at what you can do, and making the most of every day, even if that means taking a day off or a rest or self-care, like that's what matters. But I think Tisha needs to like stop putting so much pressure on herself. Like, she's driving me crazy. Anyway, so Tisha's asking about the project with Kimmy, and Marcel said, they haven't sent him any plans or anything like that. So the ball is basically in their court. Tisha doesn't want things to go back to how they were with her and Kimmy. And they played the flashbacks of when Tisha and Kimmy had their issues and them getting past that. I think that is supposed to be a storyline for this season, though. Some tensions between the Scots over this project. So we'll see where that goes. I hope it don't become a big deal, though, because that's stupid. Anyway, so then they kind of shifted the conversation, and Tisha is feeling like, she just tired of everyone coming at them and having issues, and everyone, having a problem with them. And we're talking about the Black Business Expo, because they did another one in Atlanta, which I did see online. I don't know how it went, but they invited Mel to speak at it because they said at the end of the day, Mel is a phenomenal speaker. Mel unfortunately had another engagement, so she was not able to speak at the Black Business Expo. However, they were okay with that. So they felt like, well, Tisha brought up the whole thing with Mel wants to talk to Marcel about what he said about free Martel, whatever. So Marcel was saying how, now I know he brought it up later on in an episode, but I don't know if he brought it up in the scene with Leticia about how people thought it was him because of the MAR. And so that's why he spoke out about it. So he said, he feels like every time there's something going on, it's always gets blamed on him and Leticia. And Leticia feels like, they have so much haters. They don't understand what's going on. And Marcel said, no matter who come against them, God got them. And he said, every single couple that come against them, they end up having a downfall and they have problems. Mel and Martell, Kiki and Amin, they start having issues. Lewis and Tiffany, they start having issues. And then Tisha gonna say, yeah, and then Stormi gonna be next. Stormi was doing this and that, and now it's gonna be Stormi and Courtney. Now I don't see that happening for Stormi and Courtney because I think Canvas Beauty just made some they just made like a lot of money. They just made some big headlines. It seemed like I seen on social media. So shout out to Canvas Beauty. So I don't think they about to have a downfall anytime soon, but okay. And I didn't like this statement they were making. Like, you could say everyone be hating on you, but then don't say, oh, then that's their downfall. Like, I don't fully agree with that, but whatever. Anyway, they're talking about all that. And Tisha saying she tried to be nice and all that. So Marcel said, hey, can I just give some constructive feedback or some criticism for you? So he's like, you don't need to get down in the gutter with them and go low with them when they're doing all what they doing. Like, you can rise above that. You can do this and this. Because he talking about when she was drunk at the party, okay? He was trying to say it in a nice way. And I get what Marcel was trying to say. Again, he making sense again. And so he was saying, you could take some accountability, basically. And she was like, you feel like I don't take accountability? And he was like, no, this is not the first time Marcel's told Leticia this. And she was like, oh, well, I feel like every time I do something, you want to correct me. And I don't feel like that's right and all this stuff. Now, Marcel does correct Leticia. I feel like two things are true at the same time here. Leticia, you don't take no accountability. But Marcel, you do always want to correct Leticia's behavior and everything, single thing she does. And I don't agree with that either. You are not her daddy. Now, Leticia, you was dead wrong at Miss Nell's party. It was entertaining, but you was dead wrong, sloppy drunk. And she didn't like how the girl said she was having liquid courage, but that's what it was giving, girl. And that's what it was giving. And Tisha, I want more for you, sis. Like, you didn't even need to do all that. And like, you could stand on business and all that without doing it the way you were doing it, right? I don't know. I think Leticia just needs to focus on Leticia right now. That's what Leticia need to do. Anyway, she didn't like that. So he said, you know what? I feel like every time I try to tell you something, then you get defensive and you take it the wrong way. So then let's revisit this conversation because it's not going to go anywhere. And they deaded it. I'm like, oh, child. Anywho. So he left because he's out there checking on projects. Okay. Anyway, Stormi and Mel meet up. Now, I'm like, since when is Stormi and Melody friends again? Because I don't remember that, but y'all remind me in the comments. Well, they made for TV friends, I guess. They probably got a friendship contract. Shout out to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, Mel just wanted to talk about the other night with the party. Again, a waste of a scene. Mel felt like Stormi was coming in peaceful and Tisha was being on some rah-rah. And they said Tisha was being extra hyper and she's making comments. And because Stormi said she wanted to meet with Mel to basically see like if she took the invitation genuine or not as well, because she thought she was being genuine by inviting everyone to the party. So Mel didn't have an issue with the invitation. So Mel was like, girl, what you want us to wear? And so I think Stormi says it's gonna be cocktail form or whatever. So Stormi's like, I noticed, Martel wasn't at Miss Nell's party and, Martel's going to be at the event. So Mel said, okay, Martel's going, she ain't going, she won't be there. It's a no for her. RSVP, no. Okay. She's respectfully declining. But that was pretty much it for their conversation. Like, they wasn't really talking about nothing but rehashing Tisha's behavior. And I feel like this was a scene just to really gang up on Leticia. Just like they would have their little scene a few years ago when they was ganging up on Destiny. That's what this kind of reminded me of. But I don't know. This show so this show just be so like something sometimes, y'all. I don't. I'm glad when they get, let's get some momentum this season. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, I guess Mel didn't have no teriyaki on her meat. So she's like, excuse me, sir. Can I ask you a question? Why does my meat look light skin and her meat look dark skin? So he was like, you gotta put the teriyaki sauce on it. She's like, okay, cool. Can I get some of that teriyaki, please? Anyway, oh, and Mel, her little outfit she had on, I got the Fashion Nova version of that outfit. I was like, she got my outfit on. Anywho, moving on. Then we see Martel and Trish at the gym. Martel said he typically don't train with the woman. I could tell he did not want to be trained by no lady. I could tell he did not want to be trained by no lady in that gym. So he said he typically does not train with women, but he gonna go on and do this with Trish. And Stormy only gave him a little bit of time to get his body together. He feels like he has the dad bod right now. He don't feel like his body is together. See, Martel, if you minded your business and stop sending revenge PORN to people and got in that gym, your body will be together. But you too busy doing interviews and sending out videos. And that's why your body is not together, sir. Anyway, this was also another waste of time scene. Martel, I didn't believe anything you had to say in this scene. Trish, your body look good, girl. I will work out with you for sure. But I don't believe you about to work out with them with the hair swooped up and them curls coming down the front. You was not giving Jim hair, but you was looking cute, girl. So yeah, she was like, oh, you act like you know me now. And he was like, oh yeah, I do know you. And he said that Chris was trying to invite introduce him to her or something like that. Anyway, and then he's asking her about, she married and she's trying to explain her situation. She's fumbling all over the place and ain't making sense. She hates explaining it. She's talking about the whole side chick thing, and Miss Nell talking about the side chick thing at the party, and she said Mel was grilling her at the party. And so Martel was like, oh, did you grill her back? And so he was, and then she said something about being separated, and then she met Ken because he was trying to allude that Ken was a side chick. And so Martel's like, oh, that's what everybody say. And Mel said we was separated when she started doing her stuff. And Martel's like, yeah, men and women's got side chicks. Everyone got side chicks. No, Martel. And he's like, yeah, I did my thing for a little while. I had a wife and a side chick. Martel, shut up. You don't even make sense. And another thing he said in the confessional, in the scene with, with him and Chris Fletcher and Courtney throwing the football, he said in the confessional that he want to hear later on from Chris when Mel's no longer Miss Nell's friend, and they'd be like, "Oh, what happened?" Because how Mel cuts off one friend at the end of a season, so he's assuming Miss Nell will be that friend that's cut off next. And he don't want to hear nothing. Martel, please be quiet. Now, Mel, do you do out that pattern, no, girl? You do. I don't think Miss Nell will be the next friend cut off by Melody. I don't see that happening. But who knows, right? Anyway, back to this little fake scene with the workout. Yeah, Martel think everybody got a side chick now, and he barely remembered Trish. She looked different now, and all that. He not even following instructions. He trying to lunge with the weight. She said, we just walking, She said she not training him again. Oh, they said something about Marcel. Because Martel asked, how long have you known the Scotts or everybody? So she said she's known Marcel the longest when he used to work up in, was it Monaco, they said? And he's like, oh yeah, when he used to manage up there. I'm assuming that's where that movie theater was that Marcel used to manage. And so she was like, yeah, he used to work with my sister up there and my ex-husband up there. And so Martel's like, oh, did he tell you about them parties? Did he ever invite you to the parties they used to throw? And so she's like, no, what parties? And then he was like, oh, that's good because they would have got you because they used to let women throw parties up there and all this stuff. And she was like what? So she's like, I don't know, he joking about the Marcel stuff or what? And I just like Martel was just throwing stuff out there. Like, be quiet, sir. Anyway, moving on. The final scene, which was a scene that I actually was laughing at and entertained by, like I said, was the scene behind me with Mel and Marcel. So Mel says she hasn't, seen Marcel since the whole she said she hadn't seen him since the whole Martel arrest thing, but no, she's seen him at the party. Did I misunderstand that? Anyway, she came, hey Marcel, how you doing? Yeah. And they talked about the Black Business Expo. And so she asked him, did they do sponsors this time? He said yes. She said, did you get a keynote speaker? They had 3. And he's like, oh, don't want you to think, we don't take advice. We do take, advice. So they took about all of her feedback from the town hall. And she said she was surprised because it didn't seem like they were receptive before. But she said, it looks like this one went better than the last one. It was very much shade, but deserved shade, right? Because we saw that first Black Business Expo win. But that's, I would be curious if y'all know how the one in Atlanta win. Let me know. I'm sure somebody went to it, right? So then Mel brings up the whole thing with Marcel speaking out about what happened to Martel. And so she said, people come to me about y'all stuff. Mom's the word. I don't say nothing, but you want to speak out about my stuff. So Martel said, I didn't voluntary speak out, like people were thinking it was me because it was MAR. And so she's like, well, that's understandable. Like, if people are thinking it's the wrong name, okay, I can see that. She's like, I don't know how anybody would think it was you, but okay, I'll give you that. But she was like, but you did like a whole statement. And he was like, yeah, well, the person who reached out to me, I know them. And she's like, oh, so you know the person. So she's like, how many people that I know also reached out to me about y'all, and I don't say nothing. And so he was like, yeah, well, I have the text messages right here to show you that, they reached out to me and yada yada. So then she was like, okay, let me see this text message. Let me see these text messages. Look like he was trying to hide something in it too. So she showed him the messages and then that's, I guess, where he said, free Martel. She's like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then that's where it ended. And then we're gonna pick up next week. Or Saturday, really. Because y'all know I'm behind with the videos. But anyway, so I think that's gonna be good. Hopefully the season picks up because it's really giving nothing for me. But I'm gonna try to stick with it. I'm gonna keep watching. Also, y'all, for my College Hill Celebrity Edition fans, for those of y'all who watch those videos and watch the show, the new season, I think we're on season 3, is back. I didn't realize what day it came back. So they have 2 episodes. I watched the first episode. So I'm gonna try to do that review after work tomorrow, and then get y'all the second episode this weekend at some time, and then hopefully we'll be all caught up. But like I said, y'all, we outside, so just keep up, turn on the bell notifications, and we're gonna get it done. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know what y'all thought of this episode, and I'll talk to y'all again very soon.